This is an Affiliate Radio exclusive.
What up, world? This your boy Big KURT Dogg, aka DJ LS, and we are broadcasting live from the Northwest, the West Side, you know what I'm saying? And in the building, I got my nigga Rock Bottom, the underboss. What's cracking, homie?
Oh, shit. You know what it is, man. I'm here to stay facts over bullshit, keep it 100, and keep the music alive,
Oh, man. You know I like to call you the Facebook bad guy.
Yeah, they love it. They love it. They love it.
Man,
Let's give them
it's a
something
lot
to
of
eat on.
it's a lot of controversy pimping, and you know I'm gonna say this for the record because people don't understand. Like, this is my business. This is what I do. I'm trying to put the O on. So if I get one artist in that got a problem with another artist, I got to get the other artist in, get their side of the story. That's real nigga shit. If you don't understand that,
You're feminine. you probably have a used tampon hanging between your legs, and we're just gonna keep it between you and your legs.
Okay. Well, he said that, but you know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. I got to get, you know, every side of the story from every aspect because that's how real niggas do it. So it is what it is. So now we're going to get into a Rock Bottom. First of all, how did you get the name Rock Bottom?
At the age of about 11, 12, you know, I used to always hang around my older brothers. They was like 17, 18, you know what I mean? I was like 11, 12, and I would always take the shit they didn't want or was through with and make it new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I know
you
how to
know,
go.
old pair of Reebok classics, you don't want them no more? Okay, I'm gonna take them, clean them up, put some new shoestrings in them and make you, damn, nigga.
There it is.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of like, you know, basically I come from the bottom, my nigga. I wasn't just no poor ass nigga, but you know, I grew up on 20th and Kelly on the east side, and we probably wasn't just the richest family in the world.
Right. So you basically took what took lemons and made lemonade out the situation.
Exactly. That's pretty much where I got that name from. And the person that gave it to me was on my 15th birthday, but a dude named Don Cooper. It was my brother's best friend. We call him Eastside. He was like, nigga, your name is Rock Bottom.
That's what it is. Now, you've been rapping for a minute, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Now,
10 years in this game.
We gonna go down the list because you've been putting in work for a long time, but when you first got started, I know you say you talked about the battle rapping. That's what really inspired you to get into the actual rapping game. But who inspired you to even start rapping in the first place?
The person that, like, I mean, industry-wise or close quarter, you know, both.
Yeah.
I was inspired, man. First off, it ain't no form of hip-hop I ain't been a fan of. I'm talking about from Jungle Brothers, Daz Effect, man, we can go back, you know what I mean? Like, I've listened and been a fan of all forms of rap to the point to where NWA hit and the West Coast influence took over Oklahoma. Like, I could really break it down, but my overall greatest, most person that really just pushed me to be a rapper would probably be like, you know, myself. I ain't even gonna lie to you, like, no bullshit. Like, over the summer of 9th grade, I was just like, this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love this shit. You know what I'm saying? And you can get paid from it. I was like, oh, hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, industry-wise, people that inspire me to be great and polish my craft, I know hands down, I would say Eminem, Jay-Z, Ludacris. You know, them to be the top three. You know what I mean? Why Eminem for his lyrical content and the way shit, and Jay-Z for his business, the way he came into the game and revolutionized how artists can go from just being an artist to owning some shit, and Ludacris for being an artist from the South and then doing this, you know, being one of the, you know, doing the same thing. And I like his outgoing style. You know what I mean? The way he played with his tones and shit. Yeah, that delivery. That, if you notice,
sharp.
You know, that's why I take a lot of delivery. You know,
that's funny. That's funny you said that because when I met you back in the day, and I remember you did that joint with Sid back in the day when he was working on this R&B joint. Shout out to my nigga Sid.
Hey,
you know
that is shouts out to Scissorhands. Scissorhands, that was his favorite song. It's called It's On. It's on tonight. You talking about that one right there?
No. The #1 stunner track we did at the Southern Life Studio.
Damn. Yeah, that was 97.
I got a copy of that. No, it wasn't. No, it was like 2001,
was
2002.
It?
Yeah.
Damn, well, I gotta get it here. I gotta hear that.
Yeah, I got a copy of it, but
see, I got so much work out, bro. You know,
but when you did that joint, I was like, man, he got that like ludicrous feel. It's like you didn't sound like him, but you just had that energy.
Yeah, it's delivered.
It's funny you say that you know you.
I ain't
really
gonna hide it. You know, that's the whole thing with rap. You know, it's giving respect where respect is due and influence is where it's due. You know, like everybody want that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely M3, no doubt.
So you get into the rapping, man, and we're gonna start from the beginning. How did you get with Faka?
Like I said, I used to always kick it with my brother's homeboys. You know what I'm saying? And from the time I was like 15 to about 17, I used to kick it with my brother homeboy Eastside and all of them. And then I got my first job at Shorty Smalls. And I was making cheese biscuits and busting tables. You know what I'm saying? And it was this nigga named Big Faka. You know what I'm saying? You remember BF?
Yeah.
Okay, it's this nigga named Big Faka that could rap. Like, nigga, when it came to like metaphors, telling stories, like he was like the Rakim, Slick Rick. Like he was like all them in one. You know what I'm saying? But he had his own style, and then his name alone drawed me to him. I'm like, man, this nigga's name is Big Faka. You know what I mean? So I used to always kick my bars to this nigga. You know, I come into work and I'd be bored back there, cleaning my bus tub out. He'd be over there cooking and shit, and I'd be like, hey, check this out. You know what I mean? He would hear me out and be like, you got something. You know what I'm saying? So they already had a group, you know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much where he was just like, we was bringing bottom in. You know what I'm saying?
So Faka was already established? And they brought you in?
Yep, sure was. Okay, it was already established. Sure was. It was two dudes. It was a dude named Naki, and it was another dude named BF, and it was already Faka. They was already killing Glass Key Club. You remember back in the day, they was turning shit down back then. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they brought me in and put me in my first studio.
I'm gonna keep it 100, man. To me, Faka was one of the illest rap groups in Oklahoma. Period. From what I heard at the time when I was just coming up trying to, find my sound and do what I was doing, I was looking up to y'all like, man, these cats is ill.
And I got my inspiration from them niggas. I ain't gonna lie, like they put me in there and was like, man, you gotta go hard. You gotta fucking. Cause I used to rap, but I didn't used to put that infliction on my tones and shit until I started fucking with them.
So you soaked up your game from them, basically.
Yeah. I got a lot of game from them. Hey, man, I got a lot of fucking game from them. Like, I ain't gonna front. Like, BF, Naki, Antonio, A-Love, all of them, man, they fucking, I soaked a bunch of them.
I mean, that's real. If any artist say they didn't get soak up game or get influenced by somebody, they ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. So y'all was messing with Record Boy Entertainment, right?
Yep. RBE. Yep.
Man, shout out to Spider and Micah.
Micah, big up to Spider, wise musician. He's still getting it in. Micah, he was like the first producer that I, came across in Oklahoma City, to put me in a booth and
had
record.
A real studio.
Yeah, real studio, bro. Hell yeah, I ain't taking that credit away from him. Getting one of the first studios in the city.
That's history right there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? So
need to know that.
When you guys migrated from the Record Boy situation, is that when y'all came to Southern Life for a hot minute?
The Record Boy situation was going more in a religious route.
Right.
Spider and Micah was going more on, what they was into. You know what I'm saying?
Because they're Israelites, right?
Yep. They was at the time. I don't know if Spider still is, but I know they was into that back then. And we was still super street, drinking 40, smoking blunts. So we just needed a platform to continue our product. And we came on over to Southern Life because we knew you was there producing. Polo was there, right? We seen some stars over there, so we said that's the team we should fuck with.
Yeah, y'all were there for a hot minute.
Yeah, about a year. Yeah, about a year. It didn't last too long.
Yeah, I looked up and I was like, what happened? Where they go?
Man, like I said, Big Faka was the leader of the group, and he didn't feel how, Will was running the situation. And, he, whatever, when he said it was time to go, loyal soldiers, we was gone.
That's right.
We was out of there.
Well, I was with their label at one point in time, and I feel where he coming from.
Yeah, and Polo will explain to you, too. If you ever get a job over Polo, he'll tell you his side. We ain't throwing him under the bus. We ain't trying to bash him, but the situation didn't work out, and it was time to move on.
It was what it was, you know what I'm saying? So then you go from that point. Now, did Faka break up?
Now, from that point, you got to remember that, BF and Naki and Antonio was a little bit older than me. You know what I mean? Okay. By like 10 years. They was a lot older than me. So, they started, God got a way of training people to, mature and grow and do different stuff. You know what I mean? And Antonio started opening up restaurants, getting big dough in other cities. Nobody's going to tell him stay here and rap in Oklahoma and you already making good money.
That money,
so he was kind of like the first one to get on and do his thing, and then BF, he always gonna rap. He still rap to this day, he still gonna get it in, but he became more of a family man, you know what I'm saying? Going to work, handling his business, doing what he needed to do, that's respectable. respectable, you know, and me being the youngest, and then my homeboy Naki got locked up. You know what I'm saying? He doing life. I mean, he doing some time. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna get out for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to speak on why he locked up, but you know, he locked up. And I was the youngest of the group. And at the time, I think I was like about 19. You know what I'm saying? 19, about to be 20.
See, I didn't realize you were that young in the group because I seen
I was
them
like
and I thought
14,
y'all were all
15,
the same age.
16 around that time.
So you tall as hell. That's how
that's all it was. I had big ass feet because I used to take their shoes when they didn't want them. I had big ass feet and I was always tall. You know, after the 5th grade, I don't know what happened. I just fucking blew up, just fucking stretched.
That's what it is. So then we go further down, man. The history is so deep. And then we get to the trap house movement.
Yeah.
I call it a movement because it definitely made an imprint on Oklahoma hip hop.
Man, around like I think I was about like 21, 22. You know, Chief, you know, was fresh off his Nitro stint. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Nitro. You know, he's one of the first artists to get it in. And Chief was running with Smiley, and they was just like a pair at the time. A couple trap niggas in the trap doing what they doing. You know, and we knew they was forming a label because everybody knew Diamond Sound Studio was the best studio to record in at the time. You know, so all the artists was drawn to Diamond. So me, now let me give credit where credit is due. I used to get my hair cut at the barbershop on the east side where Scissorhands used to cut it.
Yeah, shout out to Scissorhands.
Shout out to Scissorhands because he's another instrumental person in mine. He used to always tell you, got it. You know, do what you need to do, keep doing. He was the nigga that told, he said, man, go to Diamond Sound Studio. He told me that like a month in a row every time I came to get my hair, and I never went. And then finally one day he told me to go, and I went over there, and it was like the best thing that ever happened to me at that time because I was in a pool of artists that was like beautiful. You know, like everybody over there was talented. We had producers, rappers. Chief brought Chop in from Hugo. Mouse came from Virginia. You know what I mean? So we had a nigga from the city, a nigga from the country, and a nigga from out of town. And we had Chief, and then we had the money, and then we had, you know, everything. And that's how PTA started.
And that was definitely
shouts out to Key-Tech, no doubt. The hood mayor.
No doubt. That was definitely a major mark in Oklahoma hip-hop history, man. And, you know, some things went down with Trap House, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
Situation.
Situation. That's what we gonna call it for today, situation.
We can't even speak on that, but it's a situation. And all the real niggas that knew who we was and what we was doing, you know, the flaw was we was doing what we was rapping about. It wasn't no fucking, you know, fantasy or nothing. You know, we really was, you know, doing what we was rapping about, and we probably should have, you know, been a little smarter.
Well, it is what it is. We live and we learn, you know what I'm saying? We hope everybody make it through that situation, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh hell yeah. Everybody gonna be all right. You know, I mean, like I say, doing time ain't all right, but, you know, shit gonna be what it is.
That's what's up. Now, we go from that situation, when Trap House started to go through they ordeal, you see people bossing up like Chop with Sad Squad.
Yep.
And then we see the Aviators coming out.
Man, he was like the first artist from PTH to making the initial step to be like, you know what? This is another thing. Like, it's always gonna be PTH for life. Like, it's like we ain't dismissing the whole PTH thing, but it was like, okay, 4 years of being an artist on PTH, the 5th year about to come in, him being the flagship artist that had an album about to come out, you know, he had to continue to do what he needed to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, and then I want to speak on Savage, you know what I'm saying? Because he was a young artist that, you know, that came into PTH. He wasn't even on the label a whole year, and he tragically was killed. You know what I'm saying? So that was another, you know, losing lives and shit that was going on, and, you know, it really changed us. You know what I'm saying? So I understood why Chop started Sav Squad. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't big ups to Sav Squad for doing what they did, because they inspired Aviators. They inspired me to come to Salo and say, hey, we gotta do something. We gotta create a format to where we can put ourselves out there. And I said, fuck it, man. I gotta boss up and be my own boss. And that's how we started Aviators.
So that's what's up, man. Just bossing up and making your situation greater, putting your own destiny in your own hands instead of waiting for somebody else to do it.
Real shit, and that's what I learned from that. And real shit is like, and to make something. I always made something out of nothing, you know. So when we started Aviator, we had nothing but two niggas that just figured, you know what, me and you is cool as shit. We've been out here pushing these PTH mixtapes together. Let's form our own shit.